Great. All right. So let's get started. Hopefully everybody has a strap. Does everybody have a strap that we can use? We'll use that today. So let's start by just coming down to the back. So laying down on the back. Let's just take a few moments to settle in together as a group. So even though we're not sharing the same space together right now, we're bringing our practice together, bringing our energy together, creating positive energy and support for each other so that we can remind each other that we are here for each other. And it is really hard when we don't have the physical support of being able to be with each other whenever we want to. So coming together here, sharing our practice together, knowing that we're breathing and moving together just solidifies that connection that we all have. So just take a few moments here to relax the body. Try to ease any worry or thoughts that are heavy. And just allow the breath to flow with ease. And noticing that everybody carries tension and stress in different areas of the body. Maybe the shoulders, maybe the hips, maybe the low back. So as we move through the practice today, check in with yourself and just feel where it is that you need to pay a little bit more attention. And then use every exhale to let that tension go. So from here, let's just gently hug the knees in towards the chest, lifting up the low back, and then just a gentle left to right, massaging the low back on the floor, maybe making some circles with the knees in one direction, and then going in the other. And then keeping the legs just where they are, feet are hanging down. We're going to take the arms up overhead, pause there. So feel the shoulder blades, feel the shoulders, even feel the mid-back in between the shoulder blades. Pause here, notice how you can breathe a little bit deeper as we're expanding through the lungs and the ribs. And then we're going to add the feet, so just gently lift the feet up towards the ceiling. Maybe point and flex the feet. Maybe make some circles with the ankles in one direction then the other. And just pause here for a moment. Letting the blood flow down the legs towards the hips, nourishing the joints. Opening up through the ribs as you breathe in. Letting go of tension as you breathe out. And then as we take our next breath in, let's reach the feet a little bit higher. Arms maybe go a little bit straighter. And then exhale, hug the knees into the chest. 2 more, just like that. Inhale, arms reach up, feet lift, really reach. And then exhale, relax, hug the knees in. 1 more, just like that. Inhale and exhale. So we're going to take both feet to the floor and we're going to reach for the strap. So hopefully you all have a strap. Hopefully you all have a yoga strap by now, because I'm thinking we're going to be virtual for a while. So if you don't have one, let's talk about getting you one. So we're going to put the strap together. Place it around the back of the head and underneath the shoulders. Making sure it's not twisted at your back. And then we're just going to place the foot in the strap. Okay, and if you're not using a yoga strap and you're using a belt or a dog leash, that's fine. But just know that when you're holding with your hands, try to hold with ease. Try to be relaxed through the shoulders. So we have the right foot in the strap. Hopefully hands free. Let your arms just be out to the sides. We'll let the left leg go straight along the floor so we can relax the left hip and the hip flexor, getting a little more open there. And then just breathe deeply here. Eyes are closed. And just settle in deep to this pose. Maybe you straighten your right leg a little bit more. Maybe you reach the leg a little bit more so the toes go behind you. Maybe you're pressing your foot a little bit more up towards the ceiling. So just see what feels better for you here. Feel grounded down through both hips. Allow the hamstring to let go of tightness and tension that connects to the low back. And then we'll just take one more full breath here. And then as you exhale, let's soften that left knee. We're going to bend the left knee so the left foot is on the floor. And then just let your left knee open to the left. So starting to open up the left hip a little bit, but more grounded on the left side as the right leg starts to reach over to the right. So you can have your left hand on the left hip if you need to. We're reaching the right foot away from the right hip. So you're opening more the inside of the thigh, the inner hamstring, the outer hip. So both of the hips are beginning to open. And again, put yourself in this pose where we're really releasing a part of the body that can be really tight. And then find softness. Relax the face, neck, and shoulders. Allow the breath to flow with ease. Reaching the heel away from the hip, just thinking about lengthening and softening. Let's take one more full breath in here. And then as you exhale, we're going to bring the legs back to center. Left leg will go straight along the floor again. Soft bend in the right knee as you start to reach your right foot over to the left. Your right hand can hold on to the right hip crease. Right shoulder stays down. Left arm can relax. Settle into the softness of the pose to start. Then try to straighten that right leg as you exhale. So you can take a deep breath in and soften the knee. And then as you exhale, release that tightness. Just feel the IT band lengthen. This also helps release the hip and low back. So full, strong, deep breaths here. Whenever I tap into my IT band, my breath immediately gets shorter, almost holding the breath. So trying to work through that. Keeping the breath steady and deep and allowing the body to let go and soften. So let's take a nice full deep breath in here. A full deep breath out as you reach the foot even further away. And then let's release. Draw the right knee into the chest. We'll release the strap. Just hug the knee in, relax the foot, point and flex, make some circles. We're going to bend the left knee and let your right ankle cross over the left leg above the knee. Let's take the hands on the rib cage here. So your hands are at the rib cage, and then we're just going to let the legs rock left to right. So the left foot is on the floor. You feel from your hands up, kind of being still, and getting a nice twist in the low back, nice movement there, lengthening through the top of the thighs when you reach over, the tops of the hips. Just getting a little bit of movement here through the hips and low back. And then we'll come back to center and take the hands behind the left thigh and draw the left knee into the chest. So pause here. You can sway just a little bit left to right, but then we'll all pause a little bit to the left. Draw the left knee in towards your left shoulder. Flexing the right foot so the right toes are pointing up. And then just being able to breathe here with ease. Try to relax the shoulders down away from the ears. So often when we are feeling extra stressed or anxious or even depressed, those emotions get trapped in the tissues in the hips. So if there's a lot going on, we might feel extra tightness and stress held into the hips. They're considered the junk drawer of the female body. So take a moment here and try to empty. Just try to exhale some of that worry. Doesn't mean it's going to go away. Doesn't mean you don't have things to worry about. But just right now, for this time in your practice, try to let that worry go. I think we're all a little bit worried about the future. What's going to happen? What's it going to look like? Are we going to be able to practice together again, be together again, hug each other? So just kind of let all that go and just be in this practice and know that we're breathing together with each other. Take a full deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, let's let the left foot go. We're going to cross the right thigh over the left thigh. Scooting the hips a little bit over to the right, we'll take the legs and let them gently drop to the left. If this feels too deep, you can uncross the legs. But just pause here. Let the shoulders be grounded down at the shoulder blades. Open through the collarbones and chest around the heart center. Lengthen through the sides so that you can breathe deeply into the lungs. And let the weight of the legs release the hips and the low back. Full deep breaths in and out. We'll take one more full breath in here, and then let's use the exhale to bring the legs back to center. Uncross them. Hug the knees into the chest. And then we'll take 3 breaths here. So inhale, really reach the arms up and back. Lift both feet straight up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, completely empty as you hug the knees into the chest. Inhale again, arms reach, feet lift. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest. One more time, just like that. Inhale, arms reach, feet lift. And exhale, hug the knees in. We're going to let the right foot come down to the floor. Left foot is going to come into the strap. So find where it's comfortable. So you have a soft bend, you can have a straight leg. We'll straighten the right leg here to release the top of the thigh and the hip flexor. Relaxing the arms if you can. So thinking about when you inhale, you can find softness, and when you exhale, that's when you can go deep. So you could do little bends, stretches, moving the knee a little bit, or you can just stay straight, pressing the bottom of the foot into the strap. Soft, relaxed muscles in the face. Relaxing through the neck and shoulders. The back is completely grounded on the floor beneath you, so you can feel that support. We're finding length and softness. Let's take one more full breath in here. And then as you exhale, let's soften the left knee. We're going to bend the right knee so the right foot is on the floor. Let the right knee open up to the right. Then we're going to start to reach the left leg over to the left. So you can have a soft bend and then start to straighten. We're opening up the inner thighs and the outer hips, still lengthening the hamstring. Try to stay grounded down through the right side of the body. And then just use the strap for support. And then just breathe here. Relax through the shoulders, the neck and throat. Relaxing through the jaw and the face. Take a nice full deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, let's soften the left knee. Bring it back to center. The right leg is going to go straight along the floor. Your left hand can come into the left hip crease as the left leg reaches over to the right. Start soft and then ease into pressing your left heel away from the left hip. Nice flexed foot. Feeling where along the left leg you feel tight. And then try to soften and let go there. Use your exhale to let go. So you're breathing deeply and fully, but with ease. We'll take one more deep breath in here. Use the exhale to really release and push away. And then we'll bring the leg back to center. We'll let the foot come out of the strap. Bend the left knee in towards the chest, moving the left foot around a little bit. We'll bend the right knee so the right foot comes onto the floor. Left ankle crosses over the right leg above the knee. Hands come up onto the rib cage. And then just let the legs drop left to right. You don't have to go all the way down. It can just be a little bit. Maybe getting a little bit bigger each time. Really feeling the hip move away from your hands so that you can open up the rib cage and the low back. Getting some nice movement into the low back and hips here. And then we'll come back to center and take your hands and reach for the back of the right thigh. You can sway a little left to right, and then we'll let both the shape of the legs and your left foot reach over to the right. We'll flex the left foot and then draw the right knee in towards your right shoulder. Get deep in that left hip. Let's empty that junk drawer. Let go of what you can just for a little while here. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out of the mouth. Really feeling that left hip soften. We'll take one more full deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, let's release the hands. We'll let the right foot come down to the floor. Left thigh will cross over the right thigh. We're gently going to scoot the hips over to the left. Legs drop over to the right. Arms reach away from each other. So the left shoulder is down. The left side of the rib cage is twisting a little bit towards the left as the belly and the legs are twisting towards the right. Lengthen through the spine. And then just completely melt into the mat. Let the body just completely go. Nice, full, easy breaths. We're going to take a full deep breath in, and then let's exhale. Come back to center with the legs. Uncross the legs. We'll bring the hips back to center. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock left to right a little bit. And then in any way that you'd like, we're going to transition off the back to come up. And then we're going to come right into child's pose. So you can move your strap out of the way. We'll transition onto the knees. Feel free to put something underneath the knees if you want a little extra support. We're going to start with wide knees, big toes touch. Hips sink down towards your heels. Arms reach way out in front. Forehead comes down. Pause here. Maybe shift your hips left to right. You can roll your forehead left to right. Relaxing through the back of the neck. And then from here, we're going to come up onto hands and knees. We'll bring the knees so they're right underneath the hips. Wrists are underneath the shoulders. And we'll take 3 breaths together here, just moving the spine with your breath. As you inhale, curl the toes under, drop the belly, lift the chin. As you exhale, tuck and round. Tops of the feet compress down. Really release the neck here in the back. Inhale, curl the toes under, drop the belly, lift the chin. Exhale, tuck and round. One more time, just like that. Inhale, curl the toes under, drop the belly and lift. And exhale, tuck and round. Okay, so from here, we're going to come to a neutral spine. The crown of the head is forward, tailbone is back. We're going to walk the hands forward. So your hands are going to walk forward so that your shoulders are over your wrists. We're going to curl the toes under and lift into a plank pose. So you're in plank just for a moment here, feeling strong in the arms, strong in the core. If you need to have the knees down, you can have them down. Just take a nice full deep breath in here and a full breath out. We're going to drop the knees and move with breath. Tops of the feet can relax on the floor. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, we're going to bend the elbows towards the back of the room. lowering the chest down. Inhale, push straight back up. Exhale, hips go back towards the heels. Inhale, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower the chest down. Inhale, push back up, straight back up. Exhale, hips go back. One more time, just like that. Inhale, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, bend the elbows to lower. Inhale, push back up. Exhale, hips go back. This time you're going to inhale, shoulders over wrists, and exhale, lower nice and slow and controlled all the way down to the mat. So you're on your belly. If you have any discomfort here in your low back, you can take a blanket and place it under your hips. Otherwise, we're going to take the hands underneath your forehead, stack the hands, bend the knees, and windshield wiper the feet left to right. So just ease into the low back here. So we're going to work the muscles in the back. Super important to have a strong back to support your spine. So we're going to let the tops of the feet come back down. Your hands are going to come by your chest, and then you're going to slide your hands forward so that the forearms and the elbows are down on the floor. So the elbows are back, palms are down, shoulders are back away from the ears, forehead is down. As you inhale, you're just going to lift. So you're lifting through the chest, your face is still parallel to the mat. Strong back, and then exhale, slowly lower. So this is nice and controlled and slow. Inhale, lifting, keeping the elbows and the forearms down. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Really feel the muscles supporting your low spine. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. So keep everything engaged the whole time. Everything in the core and the back. Inhale, lift. Relax the shoulders. Exhale, lower. Try not to move the neck. You don't want to lift the head so you're looking forward. Look down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last three. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, engage the back. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. Beautiful. Exhale, lower. Make a pillow with your hands under your forehead. Bend your knees. Completely relax the belly and the back. And windshield wiper the legs left to right. You can even make some circles with the feet. Big circles going in one direction. And then you can make big circles going in the other direction. Tops of the feet are going to come down to the floor. Hands are going to come by your chest, palms on the floor. Take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to push up and back. Child's pose. Just lengthen. Lengthen through the spine. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. You can ground down through the forehead. And then we're going to come back to table. Hands and knees, but we're going to lower down onto forearms. So now you're onto your forearms. Arms are parallel. Hands are relaxed. We're going to step one foot back, then the other. If you need to drop the knees, please feel that you can do that. This is the other side of the core, the front part of the core. So the core is the back and the front. We worked the muscles in the back. Now we're working the muscles in the front as well as the back. So just draw the belly in. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Breathe deeply. So use your breath here to find your strength. Your inhale fills you up, and then the exhale makes the belly even stronger when you breathe out. If you need to bring the knees down at any time, you can. Doing great. Keep breathing. I'm not really counting the time here, so take a full breath in, and then as you exhale, we'll drop the knees, come into that child's pose. If you'd like to take the hands behind you, you can. Completely relax the shoulders, the head, and neck. Pause and breathe. When you're ready, we're going to come back and meet on hands and knees. And we're going to step the right foot forward up between your hands. So the right foot is forward. The left knee is pretty far back, so you're getting deep into your left hip flexor here. The right ankle is underneath your right knee. Your left fingertips can be on the floor or on a block, or a hand can be flat down, however you'd like. We're going to turn the right toes to the right, about 2 o'clock. Roll to the pinky side of your right foot. Lots of options here. Hips are sinking down and low. The right hip is opening. You can take your right hand on your right knee inside and just help guide your right hip open as you peel your right shoulder back. If you want to come down, you can come down onto your left forearm. You can keep your right hand where it is. Just gets a little bit deeper. You can always let your right hand or right forearm come down to the floor. However you feel supported, just sway a little left to right here and allow the left hip flexor and the right hip joint to release. This is very deep, but the knees should be protected here because the right toes and the right knee are going in the same direction. That's why I like this lizard pose a little bit better than pigeon. Pigeon, I think, puts a lot of weight and pressure on the knee. So this is just a nice way to protect the knees and back while you're opening up the hip. Take a deep, full breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly make your way up. We're going to point the right toes forward. Frame your right foot with your hands. Walk your hands back as you try to get the right leg to go a little straighter. Toes reaching up towards the ceiling. Pull your right heel back. Pull your right thigh into the hip. Pause here. Don't worry about your back if it's not straight. If it's rounded, it's okay. We're just working on bringing the right hamstring and the right thigh into the hip here, straight back. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, we're going to pull the right foot back. It's going to land right underneath your right knee. Both hands are going to move forward in front of your right foot, about a foot. Curl the left toes under, lift the left knee, push off with the left foot. I much prefer revolved half moon, but we're doing half moon today because I like to teach things that I don't like. I think it's important. So the right leg is going to go straighter. Right hand is on the floor or a block. Left foot is going to rotate so the arch of the foot is facing the floor. Your left hip is opening so it's stacked on top of your right hip. The left hand can reach off the floor and see if you can possibly lift that left hand up towards the ceiling. This is not an easy pose. We have an open hip and we're weight bearing. So this is really working on the muscles around the hip joint and the bones. So we're finding balance as well as strength, little flexibility here. Take a full deep breath in. As you exhale, bring the left hand and the left foot down. We're going to cross your right ankle in front of the left ankle. You're in a forward bend here. You can take your hands behind your back and interlace them and reach them up and back. Pause here. Opening up the outsides of the legs and the low back around your sciatic nerve and the shoulders. Allowing the head to be lower than the heart. Nice inversion. Without having to go completely upside down. So take a full deep breath in. Don't worry, we're not going upside down. And a full deep breath out. We'll release the hands down. We'll uncross the ankles. Step one foot back, then the other. Come down into a resting pose of your choice. Child's pose, downward dog, hands and knees. Sitting up on the shins on your knees, whatever you'd like. 5 breaths. Notice if the breath has gotten a little bit faster because we're working a little bit harder. Slow it down and reconnect. Whatever pose you're in, you can be still, you can be moving, swaying. Just reconnect. After your next exhale, let's come back onto hands and knees. We're going to step the left foot forward, up between your hands. Knee, the left knee is over your left ankle, right knee is far back. Hips, instead of being up high, are going to drop low and heavy. Let the weight of the hips hang down. So just pause here for a moment, getting deep into that right hip flexor. And then we're going to turn your left toes to 10 o'clock and roll to the pinky side. So your right hand can be on the floor, on a block, it can be tented. Let's take the left hand on the inside of your left knee and just feel your left shoulder reach back a little bit. You can sway left to right. Always the option to come a little lower if you want to bring the right forearm down. You can keep your left hand on the inside of your left knee, or you can drop that forearm down or that hand down. So lots of options. Just try to stay deep and low and open. So we're opening up that left hip joint, the right hip flexor. And if there's one area that when you sway there, you feel super tight, just pause. Pause and let that tightness go. Find softness. Take one more full breath in here. And then as you exhale, we're going to come onto the hands, frame your front foot. The left leg is going to go straighter as you pull your hands back. Don't worry about your back. If your back is rounded, it's okay. We're just pulling the left leg back. So you want your hip to be neutral, the thigh and the hamstring pulling back into the hip. Your left toes can be lifted. If the left leg is not straight, that's okay. A bent knee is fine, but even if the knee is bent, still pull back with the heel and the hip. And then we're just going to pull that left foot back. It's going to land right underneath the left knee. Both hands are going to walk a foot in front of your left foot. Curl the right toes under, lift the right knee, and push off. So maybe you just stay right here, left foot down, right foot back, both hands on the floor. If you want to try the half moon, you're turning the arch of your right foot so it's pointing down. So your right hip is stacked on top of your left hip. Then you'll start to open so that your right shoulder is over your left shoulder. If you fall out of the pose, that's okay. You can try again or modify. When you're in the pose, feel what you feel. Strong, balanced, shaky, whichever. Take a full deep breath in, and then when you're ready, right hand comes down, right foot comes down, left ankle crosses in front of the right ankle. Hips reach back, legs can go a little bit straighter. You can interlace your hands behind your back. You can let the hands just rest on your low back, or you can reach them up and back. So working through the hips, thighs, IT band, and low back. It's all connected. A lot of people carry stress there. So we're just letting all that go, as well as the shoulders. Relax jaw. Take one more full deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, release the arms. We'll uncross the legs. And then we're slowly going to step one foot back, that knee drops. Other foot back, that knee drops. Both feet pivot over to the right. Left hip comes down to the floor. Swing your legs around to the front. So with your feet on the floor in front of you, hands are going to go behind you. Fingertips pointed towards your seat, elbows soft. We'll take a deep breath in as you lift the chest towards the ceiling. Feel the shoulders reach back, chin lifts. Elbows are soft here. So it's getting a little bit into the shoulders, giving the hips a little break. Okay, if you would like to stay here, you can soften and then come back into that version. If you want to go a little deeper, we'll soften and then you can lift the hips. So you're in a reverse table here. So you're really reaching your shoulders away from each other, away from the ears. Arms are straighter, chest is still lifted. I have a super tight neck, so my chin is drawn down towards my chest. You can let your head hang back if that feels okay on your neck, if it's not too much strain. Take a full breath in, and then as you exhale, we'll soften and lower down. And then we'll come up one more time. Option just to keep the seat down. You can lift the seat, or you can let the legs go straight and lift the seat with straight legs. So we're pausing here. Your chest is open, shoulders are away from the ears. Neck is protected in any way that you need to. So your seat can be down, legs bent, legs straight, whatever you'd like. Try to lift the chest a little higher. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, lower the seat, hold on behind the knees, and roll back onto your back. Coming onto your back, hug the knees into the chest. Sway left to right. You can make some circles with the wrists, so sometimes weight bearing on the arms causes a lot of strain in the wrist, so just kind of let that go. We'll take the feet down to the floor. Heels are going to draw in towards your seat. Palms are down by your sides. Let your breath return to being slow, steady, and deep. And then we're just going to move through bridge pose with your breath. So as you inhale, hips are going to lift, arms are going to reach up and back behind you. As you exhale, hips come down, arms come down. So just take a few rounds of that breath on your own. A little bit of a moving meditation. Allow the eyes to be closed, arms and hips moving with the breath, moving together. When you fill up the lungs, the body just lifts and floats up. And then when you empty, you slowly just float back down to the ground. Lengthening through the thighs, hip flexors, spine. Relaxing through the chest, shoulders, and neck. We'll take one more deep breath in as you reach up and back. And then when you're ready, your exhale will bring you down. And at the bottom of that exhale, hug the knees into the chest. And we'll come into happy baby pose. So that's either wide knees, holding under the knees, holding the shins or ankles, or holding the outsides of your feet. Let's sway left to right a little bit so that your back has space on either side, and then tilting the tailbone forward and down, releasing the shoulders and hips. Breathing deeply. Just pause here. And then from happy baby, let's just leave the hands and feet up, but let go of your grip. Soft hands and wrists, soft feet and ankles. Soft knees and elbows. Just pause here, letting the lymph fluid flow down the arms and legs, as well as the blood. You can bring movement towards the hands and feet, arms and legs, getting the fluid to move down towards the lymph nodes. And then slowly and gently, we'll ease the feet back down to the floor, arms come down by your sides, and we'll prepare for Shavasana. So final relaxation pose. You can be laying down on your back. You can be supported by any props underneath the legs, underneath the head. Whatever you'd like to do here to be in a position that is restful and supported, where you can just take the last few minutes of your practice to let your practice settle in deep. So once you're there, eyes are closed, soft, relaxed muscles in the face. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest and belly as you breathe. As you breathe in, take in positive energy, positive thoughts. And as you breathe out, let go of negative energy and heavy thoughts. The energy that we create together with our practice is powerful. We can send it out, hopefully sharing that positive energy with others. And also by how we interact with people today might be different because we've had this time to cultivate that positive energy. So sharing your practice with others. And then here, let's just place the right hand on the heart, the left hand on the right hand. And everyone bring to your mind's eye, to the front of your mind, the front of your thoughts, somebody who needs a little extra positive energy sent their way. And we'll all send that energy to them. Remembering that we are all connected. Not only are we here with each other, but we are here for each other. Always. So let's slowly transition out of Shavasana when you're ready. Gently moving hands and feet. Take your time, moving in any way that feels good for you, slowly. And we'll bring the palms together in front of your heart center to honor your practice and honor each other. Namaste. Let's all unmute